Well, welcome everybody to this special episode. So what I got here is I managed to actually find an AEG power tool and what I think is new in the box. I'm about 90% sure that this thing has never been used. So I did pick this up on eBay, and I'm just surprised that people can find these things out there, that they were never, consumed or destroyed or thrown away. But you can see here the model number EH700, and that would be the part number, and it's the 115 volt version. And Einhand Hobble, I believe that means one-handed planer. And as you can see, made in West Germany. So we know it's at least 25 years old. But what I thought I would do is, I haven't actually opened this yet. It has been opened before because the guy took pictures of everything on eBay when he pulled it out, but from what I could see, it's never been used. So I figured we unbox this thing on camera live, and we'll take a look and kind of have the experience that somebody might have had back in the 1980s when they bought one of these tools. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack it open. So up top, it looks like we got some documentation. First thing here, this is a list of service stations that you can take your tool to get serviced. And it's got a date up here of April 1983. Basically every place in the world, it looks like. So next thing we got is the parts schematic or parts diagram. And I'll make sure to scan this in. And on my website, I currently am trying to keep a database of all these old AEG service manuals for people who are restoring their own tools, because you can't really get this stuff anymore. And that looks like we got the manual, the actual manual for it. And yeah, the date code down here, 1183. So that makes me think that this tool is actually probably from 1984 or so, 84, 85. So we got the instructions in every language known to man. All right, and then looking at the actual box here, first thing I see is an actual wrench. It looks like it's a DIN 895, I believe. And it's unbranded. It's got a little bit of rust on it, but you definitely don't see that much anymore. And then we got everything packed in some styrofoam. So let's go ahead and see if we can pull this out. First thing we got is a fence here. And then we got the actual tool. Alright, so let's take a closer look now. So we got a couple of clues that we can look at to see if this thing really is new, never been turned on. So the first is the wrap here around the cord. That would be the first thing that would go if somebody were to actually use this. So it looks like somebody may have just undid one turn and plugged it in just to make sure it works at some point. But the other clue you can look at on these planers, this exhaust port should be filled with sawdust, and it's clean. There's no residue in there at all. So if we look here at the blades, so that right there looks like that's what you use the wrench for. So that'd be how you take the dual blades off. It looks like we got a little bit of rust right here on that piece. But I'm sure you could find replacement blades if we needed to. Alright, and then this piece right here is your depth guide. As you turn this knob up here, that will tighten or loosen. That piece. And then we got our fence here we can insert. That we can ride up against a board and then tighten with this screw right here. So pretty simple design. These holes right here, there's two on the other side. Look at the manual. There's a picture of an accessory that I guess you could buy to mount this to a table and put it upside down, so you can basically use it like a benchtop planer. That obviously didn't come with it. So you know I got to take a peek inside, of course, before we turn it on. So let's just take these two screws out and see what's under here. And that right there is the cover. And look how clean that is on the inside. There's no dust or anything. That would be more like an air intake. We got our brush holders right in here. I kind of like that design. So the armature is actually, it's transverse to the axis of this tool, which is not very common. So the other thing we'll take a peek at is inside the trigger. So that's a pretty interesting switch there. So it's a Markart. Looks like a custom job. But yeah, 1183 date code. So 1983 tool. Very cool. But yeah, they sure did make this thing easy to service. I mean, if you need to replace that power cord, you gotta just take this cover off and then re-terminate it right in there. It's not so easy on modern power tools. So looks like we got one more side here. There's this cover right here. Looks like it's only held on by one screw, so let's just see what's behind this guy. So all that is just a guard for this belt. And that belt looks to be in really nice condition. Don't see any cracking or anything. Made in Italy. Don't see that very often on belts these days. So they definitely had serviceability in mind when they designed this thing. Alrighty, well I think it's time to turn this on for the first time, and who knows how long. So hopefully this won't blow up. Look at that. Built in 1983. Probably hasn't been turned on in 20 years. Still works. That's the quality of these old West German tools. So I don't really have any projects to use this on right now. It was actually a couple years ago when I was installing some antique doors. I had to use some planers because these old houses, the frames are never straight. Yeah, I usually plane off the top and bottom to match the floor. But I'm sure I'll come up with something someday, and we can take a little look at this in some detail. But yeah, I thought you guys would enjoy that, seeing this tool come to life for the first time. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoy that, and I'll catch you guys next time.